What is crack-a-lackin' today? Look, we're going to be talking about the difference between Facebook and Pinterest today. And I mean, I've already gone over what I think is a good advertising platform. Now, in terms of what I think a good advertising platform is, if you see my videos, I've described it as something that is scalable, number one. Something I can spend lots on, something that has good attribution, something that has good data. And when we look at something like Pinterest, it's definitely one of the platforms that does lack a bit of that. Now, in terms of attribution, a lot of people complain about attribution. It's more understanding what that is. Now, when we look at something like Facebook, it usually is a last click platform. It's the same thing that we see with Google, where people go on there and it's where they make their final purchases. They usually don't go onto something like Google and search up for a product they've seen on Facebook. It does, of course, occasionally happen. And of course, when you're on Google, when you're searching for something and you find it, you're going to buy it there. So it's obviously going to be a last click. You're not going to find it somewhere else and then buy it then. You might, but most of the time, these platforms are last click. And of course, when we look into Pinterest, and we do a bit of research on the platform, we usually hear about it being a first click thing. It's here to drive traffic to your other platforms, so then you can do well there, etc. There's a few occasional times where it'll say that you might see a product on, say, Facebook, and then you get retargeted on Pinterest, and then that ends up being the last click. Now, what I've sort of noticed with my own campaigns running on here for over 2 years, I've spent probably close to $2 million every single quarter on Pinterest alone, and can sort of tell you that in terms of how Pinterest works and how I've seen it perform, it can be used in that last click function. And a lot of the times what I see is that those purchases are still coming in within the 7 days. Now, there's no need for Pinterest's attribution window, which they will suggest as 30, 30, 30, to be as wide as it is. Because as I said, also in my own understanding, I usually see purchases, if they're not in the first day, come in within the next 7 days. And even when you go under the idea of, say, that whole 30-day, 60-day sort of engagement angle, or even click angle, the whole point with that of Pinterest users being planners, if you've got audience lists set up where you have say a 60-day engagement window, you have a 60-day click window where people click onto an ad, or click onto the site and then don't really go back to a purchase. There's no need to have that window that big for attribution anyway if you've got it in your audience lists. So say your audience list is set up under that, there's no need to have your attribution windows up that high. And doing my proper research, I would advise having your window set at something at about, say, 777 or even 3037. If you really, really are looking at more high ticket items, or even something where you're looking at more those subscription models where people seem to come back over times of the month, or there's like cancellations, whatever. The more focus is on having a shorter window there in terms of purchase, because it's just the patterns that I've seen. Okay, I don't want to get banned, so I'm going to scroll past that one. But the whole point of what I'm talking about here is which platforms are better, which ones are good, etc. Now, in terms of what Pinterest has in terms of pros, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is organic, and not in the conventional way. Let's first just go off what I mean by that. I'm going to try and click up here as fast as I can, so I can skip that creative that was there. Is that nearly every single person on this platform now is trying to sell you something. Even this 8 kitchen inspirations, if you click onto this, it's going to take you to a website of which I'm sure these people are trying to sell me something. So as we can see here, there's all sorts of different things that we can see here in terms of what you can buy. If I go basement, I'm assuming that I can buy some stuff here. I can't say anything in specific, but usually any of these types of products, even this one's probably an easier one, or this one, which I should have clicked on, are going to be something where people are trying to sell you something. If it's not something that they're just trying to sell directly, they're trying to sell you onto something else. And if we can see here by these, the number one thing that this doesn't have is the big promoted thing down the bottom. And automatically, as users of Pinterest, when we see this, we are sort of pushed away by it. But the whole point is that this organic post doesn't look like an ad. So you don't really get pushed away by it. And that almost is more beneficial than having an ad there itself. And with that in mind, you're not going to have that same reach on Facebook as you would where you're organically showing up on the home feed without any sponsored types of annotations. And if we even look more into this, and I'd like to show something like, say, men's summer fashion. I don't like to say that, it's just the first thing that came up. We can see that down here where this caliber is, or even this first one under Bamboro or this Akumbra hats, these don't matter to me, right? These people are spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, sometimes even millions of dollars every single year to make sure that their ranking is high as they are. Do you know who their number one competitor is? Do you know who Caliber's number one competitor is? It's not Bamboro. It's this stupid men letter graphic drop shoulder tee. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Because they're not paying for it. They're not paying a cent to be number 2 here. There is not a single cent being paid by these people. Same with these ones. Boohoo Man USA, Otway. These are not ads. This is an ad. This is an ad. This is an ad. This is an ad. These people aren't even paying and they're ranking better than you. That should make you so pissed off. And that is one of the main upsides of Pinterest, is the fact that you can organically outrank your paid competitors. The best part about this is that you don't even have to do organic right. You can see by this. This is like a ChatGPT, like absolute keyword abomination of title and sort of thing. And I guess because you do have, I'm assuming that Boohoo would be verified. But because you have that extra tick, like this one, you can see the verification there. Because of that, you're assisted there in your overall ranking, and they're not even paying anything, which means, again, you can post, like, if we even open up something like PinClicks and look at the rankings under this search term, we will see when these pins are posted. A lot of the time, these pins are like 2-3 years old, and they're still reaping the benefits of what they had done years and years ago. And this is ranking for super high search terms like men's summer fashion. If we do something like Paris fashion, right? If I go Paris fashion, bear with me. So we've got Paris fashion here. You can see that, like, some of these ads here, like even Temu, that's the number one, probably highest paying advertiser on this platform. And we've got something like this doing even better. And I'd love to know when this was posted. I could probably find it out somehow, but just through this alone, which was probably posted 2 or 3 years ago, is still ranking higher than that other one. So looking at this, that's the first thing to understand, is that your organic ranking is just as important as your ads. And that's something that you simply don't have the upper hand with on Facebook. The next thing that we also can see with Pinterest, which is another upper hand, is the ability to do higher ticket items. We know that people do spend a little bit more on Pinterest, and we know that people are sort of more planning on Pinterest. People are coming on here looking for their home decor things. They're looking for their kitchen renovation stuff. So they're more inclined to jump on here and buy something quickly because they're in search for it. If we go back to, say, Sabri Subi's sort of, where he's talking about the sales pyramid, and he says that these people down here are not interested. They're not aware yet. And sort of making the people who aren't aware, changing them into buying mode. And these people are in buying mode. They're searching. And if they're not, they're already saving it. Like, we know that 14-year-old girls jump on here to plan their weddings when they're however old. So people jump on Pinterest to plan. If you look at any search term, if I just look up something in Pinterest trends, let's go to Pinterest trends and let's just look up something like, I don't know, let's go living room inspiration. Perfect. And we'll see there's always a jump at the start of the year. Why? Because this is when people plan. They plan their searches at the start of the year. So we know that for most items, especially those high ticket ones, Pinterest is good. I'm working with a brand right now that sells countertop, like work tops for kitchen benches. We push offices and bathrooms, and they are quite high ticket in terms of their pricing. And the offer is good enough that people look into it and they save, they get added to the audience list. And just through that alone, they are getting super high conversions and super quick conversions because they're in buying mode on the right platforms where people are there to buy. And we see this a lot. We know that people's their home feeds are allocated around their visual match. Pinterest does not have a search algorithm. It's not a search engine, it's a visual search engine. So when we're talking about that, what we're talking about is visual SEO, which is a very hard sort of concept to understand. But it is essentially the same idea of what you do with keywords you're doing with images now. So we know that people are looking at a lot of these types of colors, a lot of these types of what they might call aesthetics or placements. We know that they're gonna be interested in seeing more of these, and they're gonna be matched that based on that visual search engine. And I can even see here, like if I just scroll down here, you'll see a lot of these similar jackets from different people, like even Temu's down here, sponsored. But you can see that example right there. And this is another thing that is another upper hand to to Facebook, is that you have all these different products here, and right underneath is all their competitors doing the exact same type of thing. It's the exact same type of jumpers with the exact same type of colors and placements. So with that in mind, you can show up underneath your competitors and outrank them, outdo them, and just have a overall better offer and still do better than what they're doing. So that's a super important upper hand that Pinterest has in comparison to something like Facebook. Another thing that we can look at is overall CPMs. Now, people come to me and say, "Oh, aren't Pinterest CPMs super cheap? Like, should I start running some ads on Pinterest? I heard CPMs are super cheap." No, they're not. Like, they are, but they're not. Because why are they so cheap? Whenever you see anything that's cheap, you need to understand why. The reason why it is cheap is, look how many pins are here. When I'm scrolling on, say, Facebook or Instagram, I'm seeing one creative at a time. I scroll, I see a creative. I scroll, I see a creative. It doesn't matter if it's an ad, doesn't matter if it's a friend's post, doesn't matter if it's an update on my friend's birthday. They get the respect of one post per scroll. Look how many is just here. And this is me on 100% view. Let's say someone's on 80% view. That gets even worse, where I'm starting to see, what's this? 14 different images at one time. So it's a fight for attention there. And that's why Pinterest knows they can't charge as much in terms of their CPMs. Another thing that it doesn't have is the same data quality. We never hear about Pinterest being in, a big data breach, or they're selling your data or something like that. So we usually know that these platforms that do have that have quite a lot of data on their customers. We don't hear that about Pinterest. The way that we hear about Facebook, we hear, this, even if you go into the ads manager, people who have bought in the last 30 days, people who have a certain income, people who live in, like, there's a lot of specific things on there that you simply don't have on Pinterest that are helping with that buying period. And we don't see that as much on Pinterest, and we don't have that same ability to that data. So what does that naturally mean? Is not as good targeting, maybe, or is it just that you have to target in a different way? And that's when we start looking at trying to understand the platform a little bit more, which you can watch a bunch of my videos on that sort of talk about how Pinterest works and how the algorithm works, and how you once understand that visual algorithm and what that means, you're good. It's like a mixture of Facebook and Google, and in terms of SEO and in terms of the visual algorithm, works very much similar to Google, just in a visual sense. But it's very hard to wrap your head around a visual algorithm and visual SEO when we're so used to hearing it in the keyword sense. So you sort of need to unlearn a little bit to learn Pinterest. You can do that through hiring someone if you have the time, or you can really just spend a little bit of time understanding a bit more, watch my videos, and get that sort of answer there. But guys, these are some of the major upper hands that you have here on Pinterest, and I will quickly show an example with you of the effects of organic, which will sort of change your ideas on when you hear it. Because even when I used to hear the word organic, I'd think, shut up, just let's talk about ad spend here. But let me just show you a great example. So here you can see that we have this top sellers campaign here, and this was our top of funnel campaign, our traffic campaign. You can see that it has 5K spend here, and we returned a pretty good ROAS at 4.55 with 23K return, right? But if we come down here just a little bit to this jewelry and CPA, we can see that we spent $23,000 on this retargeting campaign. That's what jewelry was, and CPA was just seeing how low I could push the bid cap. And with that, we spent 35K. You can see that the returns on that are near about 600,000, right? So 600,000 euros, if you want to convert that to USD, it's nearly about 700K, I think. And in my currency, that's closer to about $1 million. With that alone, we stopped running our top of funnel campaigns. We didn't have anything running at top of funnel. The only thing that was pushing traffic was organic. So if you look through our posts, and even if I go go to the home feed, you will still see products from this brand that are showing up in my feed from posts that I posted literally last year, start of last year. And I'll try and find one here while we're here. And that's just the power of what you have with, and here we go, right here, organic post from this brand that I think I can say is Varsia. And when I worked with them, this is an organic post that I would have posted ages ago. You can see that the very hard work that's been put into this title, not much at all. And you can see how many monthly views they are doing with how little followers they are doing, and still doing as many numbers as they are organically. Even if I click on here, you can see. You're right, guys. But these posts will show up in your feed. If you look up anything to do with men's jewelry once, you will see my posts that I have posted years ago. And these go on for ages, just from me just continuously scheduling these posts, ChatGPT, the SEO for my from descriptions and titles, and through that have still reaped the benefits of work that I did years ago. And that's basically what is so important about Pinterest, and that is your main upper hand to Facebook and Google. But we're talking about Facebook in this video. So if you can understand this and you know what you're doing there, wrap your head around visual SEO, you can do really, really well. That's been the video today, guys. Book in a call with me if you still don't understand. I'll help you out. If you're doing well with Pinterest, or you're still a little bit lost, but you're doing well on other platforms, you have that proof of concept that your product is going to work. Book in a call. Let's have a chat. Let's see if I can help you out a little bit. Thanks.